D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? The CW's Arrowverse has come a long way since Arrow Season 1. It's expanded from a single superhero show to an interconnected universe of live-action shows, animated series, and has more on the way. The Arrowverse is by far not perfect, but over 6 years there have been quite a few missteps that have frustrated fans. Characters have been wasted, problems have arisen, villains have become so predictable it's ridiculous. Mistakes have been made on every show and on every level. It doesn't mean that we don't love the Arrowverse, but it does mean that even the most hardcore fan isn't going to turn a blind eye to some of these problems that have arisen. Here are some of the things the Arrowverse got wrong. Too many flashbacks. Oliver Queen's backstory is a huge part of the first 5 seasons of Arrow, as each season tells the story of a year of his time on the island. At first, this was a helpful exposition and introduced the Green Arrow to a new fandom. However, after the first season or 2, the island flashback became one of the most hated elements of Arrow. Most felt that they were unnecessary and that 2 concurrent storylines meant that there was not enough time to tell either as well as they could have been. At times, the flashbacks tied into the main timeline, but at other points, there was nothing more than an annoyance that took time and attention away from what was really important. Thankfully, the flashbacks are now finished. Arrow can focus on a single storyline going forward. Death means nothing. While it's certainly true that in the world of the DC Comics, it's rare for a character to stay dead, the Arrowverse takes this concept and turns it up to 11. Since Arrow's first season, it seems that no one who dies actually stays dead. For example, Oliver and Barry both died and come back to life. Alternate timelines have killed off or resurrected several characters. Multiple people have been dropped into the Lazarus Pit. Malice is currently running around resurrecting magic users left and right. Some characters have even died multiple times. Sarah Lance was presumed drowned on the boat with Oliver, then returned and was killed by Thea, then was resurrected by the Pit. Then a version of her was killed when the Legends went back to meet themselves in the past. Death no longer really means anything in the Arrowverse, which means that a character's death scene lacks any real impact. Who cares if a character is brutally murdered? They probably just pop back up again in a while. Identities are never a secret. One of the most important things for a superhero is keeping their civilian identity a secret to protect the people that they love, and preventing villains from just leaving their homes while they sleep. However, in the Arrowverse, the heroes don't seem to care if anyone knows who they really are, as they tell basically everyone within a few episodes of meeting them. In addition, the secret lairs, where they do their work and keep their weaponry, appear to have essentially no security. Only Supergirl's DEO HQ is even remotely difficult to get into, leading to various villains strolling on into Star Labs and the Arrow Cave on a regular basis. Supergirl also seems a little less likely to tell everyone she meets who she really is, but Barry Allen seems frustratingly happy to tell just everyone his super secret. Too many speedsters. Although the Flash is the fastest man alive, he's certainly got some competition, given that every second character in this series seems to become a speedster. After the initial Flash was created by the particle accelerator explosion, the Flash has introduced Wally West, Jesse Quick, original Flash Jay Garrick, multiple speedy villains from Trajectory to Zoom, and seems willing to bestow super speed on just about anyone. It makes some sense given the extent of the Flash family in the comics, but it's also getting tired fast. The Flash's best battles are against those with other powers, not just people that he has to outrun, and seeing to many characters with the same powers just isn't that interesting. Ruined Black Canary. Black Canary should have been the second biggest character in Arrow, as the true love of Oliver Queen, a kick-butt superhero on her own right, and a fan favorite from the comics. Instead, it was Sarah Lance who first became the Black Canary, and who even had a fling with the Green Arrow. Then, when Sarah was killed, Laurel Lance took up the mantle, but was eventually killed off herself. Evelyn Sharp briefly had her own stint as a copycat canary as well, and not one of these women had a lasting romance with Oliver and Natural Canary Cry. Fans were unimpressed with a mechanical collar that created a version of the Cry, and with a series of canaries who just didn't live up to their comic book counterpart in attitude or personality. Finally, it seems that Arrow has introduced a great canary, Dinah Drake, who actually has a superpower, not just a cool gadget. It took 5 seasons to get here, though, and for many, Dinah is just too little too late. Formulaic villains. With an array of comic book villains to choose from, it's frustrating to see that the Arrowverse isn't really branching out from a classic formula. Almost every season sees the big baddie following the same pattern, a mysterious, hooded, masked, otherwise hidden person who eventually turns out to be someone that the hero already knows. From Malcolm Merlyn to Adrian Chase, Reverse Flash to Savitar, even the Legion of Doom or Supergirl's Kryptonian relatives. It seems that the first requirement of the Arrowverse Big Bad is to know the hero in some other capacity. It makes the villains increasingly predictable, and as time goes by, fans are more than ready to see something different in a new Big Bad. Thankfully, it doesn't feel like this could be on the way, if only because we're running out of friends to turn against the heroes. Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad appeared in the 2nd season of Arrow, and there was some real potential for the Task Force X to be an incredible addition to the show. Unfortunately, however, the Suicide Squad ended up being a bit of a dud, thanks to issues with DC not wanting to share the characters between the small screen and the Suicide Squad movie. From the start, Harley Quinn, arguably the most popular team member, couldn't be used on Arrow, so all fans got a little glimpse of her pigtails in the Argus prison cell. Then the remaining team members and Amanda Waller were killed off ahead of the big screen version, leaving John Diggle's wife, Layla, in charge. It's another case of wasted potential, although this time at least it wasn't really the Arrowverse's fault.
If you like this video, click the Geek What icon and subscribe.